My name is Nick Vitrano. I work for 95.9 KISS FM and began with Woodward Community Media in January of 2024. It was a pure accident getting into radio. I never was I'm going to school for radio. I actually just went for that kind of communication, print journalism type of approach. Always loved to write, always loved to have a way with words. And our school paper owned the campus radio station and needed people. They just needed bodies literally to fill the station. And came in there, I was on a Thursday night with a roommate of mine just screwing around in the radio station every Thursday. Absolutely fell in love with it and that medium and that style, and got an internship, and it quite literally led to internship to part-time job to full-time job to 25 years later, here we are. I always loved the radio DJs who would come to an event or would come to our school. We always had career day, and I'd always sign up to see Lips LaBelle at WKTI out of Milwaukee. He came every single year, and it was the hot ticket. Like, you had to see Lips, and if you weren't in 5th grade, you weren't gonna get to see him because they snatched up all those tickets all the time, and there was no possible way to get in there and see him. But we would do the career days, and then Cub Scouts would do the tour of the local radio station. You could go in and see the guys and see the women who were behind the scenes and the producers, and it just sort of always was a magical thing to me, a magical connection that I didn't necessarily think was in my future, but always had a fascination with it and always loved it. And so just kind of growing up in that culture, Milwaukee radio was such a great scene for morning shows, especially Reitman and Miller and Dave and Carol and Bob and Brian, and grew up listening and being immersed in that and pushing the buttons and feeling it every morning, that energy, and just always had a fascination with it. So the ability to work in it was intriguing to me. It was something that I just wanted to explore and see if it was something that kind of pipe dream where you go like, oh, well, someday I'll be in radio, and you're like, wow, I mean, who gets to be those guys? And so I just kind of went down that avenue and just kept pursuing things that I loved, pursuing love and passion, and found it in radio, found that it just kind of filled every box. It checked every box, it filled every drop of the bucket, and just fell in love with it and have been with it ever since. I have always been sort of a music nut, and I think it's a generational thing as well, but certainly people within the radio industry always have the laying on your belly and you've got one hand on record, one hand on pause. You call the radio station, you request it, and then you wait and you flip it because you want to hear your perfect song and set the mood. I think there's such a magic to the mood and the memory, and a song can take you back to a snapshot in time. It can freeze frame a moment in your life or bring an emotion to the surface you didn't even know you had in that moment. And so I've always loved music and always loved that combination of words and sound and how that can make you feel. And so I'm just kind of a fan of anything that sort of gets you into a headspace, makes you think a little bit. Sometimes it's about the lyrics, sometimes it's just about the beat, but music is you can just capture your soul and capture that moment. I am a huge hair metal nut. So it is growing up in the Guns N' Roses, Warrant, Whitesnake, Skid Row, that kind of era was just a dream come true. It sort of has always stuck. It has just been, I think you kind of grow up in a certain era and a certain style of music, and it sticks with you your whole life because that is your life. I'm very grateful that I grew up in that era because I just love hair metal bands. Doing a morning show is such a lifestyle. You have to give up a little bit of your night. You have to sacrifice a little bit of that time in the evening in order to wake up early and to come in and do it. So you just kind of have to love the lifestyle and love what you do, as I think number one, just the passion at the foundation. But to me, it's so strange. It's kind of surreal because you're in a studio by yourselves most of the time. In our case, it's 3 people in a studio. And you talk and you banter and you discuss and you go down certain avenues, and you hope it sticks. You hope that people are out there. You hope you're doing something, whether that's to make somebody laugh because they're going through a tough time, or make somebody think about something a little differently, or to celebrate a community event that somebody might not even know exists, or just to champion Northeast Wisconsin and what's going on here in this incredible community to live in. You hope it's working. And so when you leave that studio, and you have the opportunity to interact with the public, or get out and you're going grocery shopping and somebody goes, oh, that was great today, I really loved listening to it. It energizes you. There's a certain electricity to it that gets you fired up to do it again and to come in the next day and to kind of keep going at it and keep trying to find a new way and a new creative way to reinvent yourself every single day and connect with somebody out there. I think that difference-making ability is so surreal and so electrifying and fills you up so much. You can't wait to get in the next day. You sort of live in a notebook. It's almost every day you've got I gotta write that down, I remember to talk about that, or you see something or hear something, and there's a certain energy behind it that just gets you fired up to do it again the next day. You kind of can't wait for that alarm to go off.